What if I told you that some of the most advanced European space missions quietly rely on Canadian ingenuity, not just as a minor partner, but as a powerhouse of robotics, AI, and quantum tech, helping drive a new era in space? Yet, behind every groundbreaking lunar rover or cutting-edge satellite, there's a silent economy, a maze of alliances, and a set of looming questions. How did Canada gain this influence? And what's at stake as technology, money, and national ambitions collide 400 kilometers above our heads? Let's pull back the curtain on an international partnership most people overlook, and see how Canada's transatlantic leap is transforming not only space technology, but the future of global cooperation. It starts nearly 50 years ago. The year is 1979. Star Wars has just hit theaters, and the world's superpowers are locked in a race to dominate space. But in the background, two regions with far less fanfare sign an agreement that will change the trajectory of commercial space forever. Canada and the European Space Agency, the ESA, form a partnership. Canada, the only non-European participant, is given a rare privilege, the ability to bid on ESA contracts and collaborate at the highest levels. At first glance, this might seem like a footnote in the annals of space history. But let's fast forward to today. From 2018 to 2024, Canadian organizations landed 233 ESA-funded contracts, valued at over $133 million, nearly $200 million Canadian. And the impact doesn't stop there. On average, Canadian investments through ESA have returned a staggering 3.5 times their original value, launching a ripple effect through Canada's innovation sector. The partnership has grown far beyond hardware. Over 60 Canadian companies, 25 universities, and a host of research organizations are now woven into the fabric of Europe's boldest missions. Their roles range from designing the robotic arm for ESA's next-generation lunar rover to developing quantum sensors that could rewrite how we observe our planet. Dr. Erica Wagner, Director of Space Exploration at MIT Media Lab, calls it a uniquely positioned alliance to lead sustainable space exploration, focusing on resource utilization and minimizing environmental impact. And it's not just about sending spacecraft farther. It's a race against time to tackle shared challenges like climate change, sustainable resource use, and the disruptive march of quantum computing and artificial intelligence. That's where things get fascinating, because as this partnership evolves, so do the stakes. Every successful mission, every contract signed, is backed by a growing network of STEM graduates, startups, and federal programs. The results? Stronger education, more internships, and what experts call a flywheel effect. Canadian technology gets tested in Europe, then spins into commercial markets worldwide. As Lisa Campbell, president of the Canadian Space Agency, puts it, through the Canada-ESA partnership, Canada will continue to leverage scientific and technological knowledge to advance space-based expertise and strengthen our international relationships. But here's where emotion kicks in. For many Canadians and Europeans, this isn't just about rockets and satellites. It's a story of opportunity, a chance for smaller nations, nimble companies, and visionary students to punch above their weight on the world stage. So how does this partnership actually work day to day? What's behind the numbers? First, Canada's special status with the ESA isn't just political, it's commercial. The agreement gives Canadian firms access to ESA's massive pipeline of projects, everything from satellite communications to deep space science. Canadian engineers and scientists team up with their European counterparts, sharing labs, data, even office space. But this isn't charity. The ESA has its pick of global partners. What makes Canada stand out? According to Professor Jim Nickpon of the Space Policy Institute, Canada's expertise in AI and robotics, paired with ESA's robust infrastructure, creates a powerful synergy for developing next-generation space technologies. Take the International Space Station's mobile servicing system, built by Canadians, and a global showcase of their robotic talent. Or the upcoming Moon rover, soon to sport a Sky-Align-designed robotic arm. Or quantum sensors by SB Quantum, set to make Earth observation 30% more accurate. These aren't small tweaks, they are paradigm shifts. It's about turning scientific breakthroughs into commercial wins. ESA's Scale-Up program, for instance, gives Canadian startups a direct jump into the European market, potentially boosting their export revenues by 15% within just 5 years. With a new $20 million commitment from Ottawa, startups now have a launchpad into a global innovation ecosystem. And the impact on Canada's economy? In 2024, the space sector contributed $7.4 billion to Canada's GDP, growing at 5% per year. Every ESA contract doesn't just fill the order books, it triggers follow-on business worth 3.5 times the original deal. That means more jobs, new patents, up 25% from Canadian firms linked to ESA projects, and higher stakes for Canadian entrepreneurs. But let's get real for a moment. With opportunity comes risk. These technologies, AI, quantum, advanced robotics, are changing not just space exploration, but the world economy at its roots. Look at the Canadian government's $50 million bet on quantum encryption and AI for satellite communications, or the hyperspectral imager, born from a Canadian-European alliance, that will soon monitor Arctic ice melt. These aren't just technical wins, they are strategic, with implications for climate policy, national security, and the balance of power in a new space race. And here, the partnership starts to feel less like a win-win and more like a high-stakes poker game, with technology and influence as the chips on the table. As Dr. Alice Smith, space industry analyst at Teal Group, points out, the Canada-ESA partnership offers a unique model for international collaboration, leveraging complementary strengths to drive innovation and economic growth, but it also faces mounting pressure to adapt, or risk being left behind. The world is watching as AI and quantum leap from science fiction to reality. ESA and CSA are exploring AI for autonomous satellite operations and data analysis, projects that could slash mission costs by 20%. But as the machines get smarter, tough questions emerge. What happens to human jobs? Who controls the data? And how do we ensure these technologies aren't hijacked in ways that could threaten privacy, security, or even peace in space? There's also the scramble for commercial dominance. ESA's scale-up program could be a golden ticket for Canadian SMEs, but it's also an open invitation to global competition. As more players crowd into the commercial space market, margins shrink and risk rises. Meanwhile, new entrants, private space companies, rival alliances, and even well-funded adversarial nations are watching closely. The Canada-ESA model may be enviable now, but in a decade, will it be nimble enough to face decentralized commercial-first rivals? Let's not forget the environmental dilemma. As the partnership launches satellites to monitor climate change, it also contributes to the growing problem of space debris. How do Canada and ESA balance scientific progress with long-term sustainability above our heads? Dr. Douglas Hamilton, professor of physics at University of Maryland, says, "The collaboration is essential for advancing space science, but the bigger test will be in adapting rapidly as technology and politics shift." And here's the emotional twist. This is about more than contracts and patents. It's about whether countries like Canada can use collaboration as a lever to stay relevant as new powers shift the rules. If the partnership stumbles, there's a risk of lost opportunity, weakened innovation, and a future where neither side leads. As the Canada-ESA alliance stands at a crossroads, the stakes couldn't be higher. With quantum breakthroughs on the horizon, AI poised to revolutionize space missions, and commercial forces threatening to upend the playing field, one question hangs in the air. Can this partnership adapt quickly enough to seize the next wave of opportunity, or will it get outpaced by the very technologies and markets it helped to create? And what happens if, just as Canada's influence peaks, external forces or internal tensions threaten to unravel this carefully built bridge across the Atlantic? As we move into the second half of our analysis, the future of this symbiotic relationship and its impact on the global space economy hangs in the balance. If the first half of this story was about triumph and rising to the challenge, now we enter territory that could decide the fate of Canada and ESA's future in space. The question is no longer just how the partnership started, or even what it's accomplished, but whether it can blaze a new trail in a world that's reshaping itself at light speed. Let's jump ahead. Imagine the year is 2030. The world's space landscape is more crowded, competitive, and unpredictable than ever. Private giants and bold startups are launching swarms of satellites, harvesting data by the petabyte, and racing toward the moon and Mars. Meanwhile, AI and quantum leaps are redrawing the map of what's possible almost monthly. Canada and ESA stand at a crossroads. Will this long-standing alliance remain a leader, or will it be eclipsed by more nimble or better-funded rivals? Right now, the answer could go either way. There's both great risk and incredible opportunity. Let's explore what's really at stake. The first scenario, AI-driven space exploration. Picture satellites that manage themselves, AI power ships that react instantly to space weather, navigate hazards, and even make scientific decisions without waiting for ground control to give them orders. This isn't science fiction. It's a blueprint being drafted in ESA and Canadian labs today. A 2025 Space Tech Analytics report predicts that by deploying advanced AI for satellite autonomy and data analysis, missions could slash costs by 20%. That could mean hundreds of millions in savings, or more ambitious missions than ever thought possible. But there's a shadow side. As Professor Jim Nickpon from the Space Policy Institute warns, autonomous systems can create new vulnerabilities, cybersecurity risks, and ethical dilemmas around decision-making in space. What happens if an AI-controlled satellite is hacked or makes a decision that causes international tension? Then there's the human side, jobs, expertise, and what humanity's role becomes as we hand off more control to machines. The Canada-ESA partnership is already investing $50 million in quantum encryption and AI to make sure these systems remain secure. Still, striking the right balance will be a defining challenge of the decade. Scenario 2. Quantum-enhanced Earth observation. This isn't just about seeing Earth from above, it's about seeing it with a clarity that breaks the boundaries of current science. Quantum sensors, like those from Canada's SB Quantum, could improve accuracy in resource mapping and tracking environmental changes by up to 30%. That's revolutionary when you consider the stakes: climate change, disaster response, water management. By pooling talent from Montreal to Munich, the Canada-ESA axis is positioned to leap ahead of rivals. ESA and CSA's hyperspectral imager, launching in 2028, will monitor Arctic ice melt with a precision never before achieved. Imagine being able to predict floods, wildfires, or permafrost collapse, not with weeks of lag, but live, protecting millions and saving billions in damage. But there are hurdles. Quantum tech is expensive and experimental. The cost for developing, deploying, and maintaining these systems is high. There's risk that a competitor, state or private, could outpace the alliance and grab the global spotlight. That's why nimbleness, investment, and relentless collaboration are more vital than ever. The third scenario, building a commercial space ecosystem. Between 2018 and 2024 alone, ESA funded 233 contracts with Canadian entities, worth over $133 million. But what's more powerful than those numbers is the ripple effect. Canadian startups, like those fostered by ESA's scale-up and business incubation centers, get exposed to the entire European market. The Euroconsult report forecasts that this could boost Canadian SME export revenue by 15% in just 5 years. SkyAlign is designing new robotic arms for ESA lunar rovers. Innovative quantum encryption firms are teaming up across continents. Research partnerships, like the deal between the University of Alberta and ESRIC, are opening the door to sustainable mining of lunar resources, critical for humanity's off-world future. But new commercial challengers are appearing every year, some with government backing, others fueled by Silicon Valley fortunes. The barrier to entry is lower, but the pressure to innovate is relentless. The Canada-ESA alliance must move faster, cut red tape, and constantly look for new ways to partner with industry. As Dr. Erica Wagner of MIT puts it, the future belongs to those who can turn collaboration into innovation and use it to solve not just technical, but social and environmental problems. So, what does this all mean for you, whether you're an engineer, entrepreneur, student, policymaker, or just a curious citizen? First, this partnership is an incubator for opportunity. If you're in STEM, business, or even the creative arts, the Canada-ESA link opens doors most people never see. Canadian investment in ESA is not just a line in the national budget, it's a ticket to participate in the world's most advanced missions, sometimes with follow-on business 3.5 times the value of the original contract. If you're a student, the ecosystem boom means more scholarships, internships, and real-world projects across borders. Many post-secondary institutions participate in ESA missions, giving Canadian students direct access to hands-on work with real satellites, experiments, and international teams. As science teacher Nia Jalil noted in a recent summit, the fastest way to become world-class is to learn by doing, on global teams. ESA gives Canadians that chance. If you're an entrepreneur or SME founder, ESA's scale-up and business incubation programs provide not just funding, but a launchpad to Europe, one of the world's largest space and technology markets. And with Canada's government pledging $20 million to help startups enter ESA's business incubation centers, doors are opening that didn't exist a decade ago. On a more everyday level, the advances made in space technology have a way of coming home. Every improvement in Earth observation means better weather prediction and climate modeling where you live. Every leap in quantum sensing can lead to smarter crops, safer drinking water, more effective emergency response. When Canada and ESA push boundaries in orbit, the benefits ripple out to every citizen. But perhaps the most important lesson: adaptation is not just for governments and agencies. It's for all of us. The world is changing faster than ever, and the skills that matter are curiosity, openness, and the ability to build bridges. The Canada-ESA partnership is a living example of what happens when nations bet on collaboration, not competition. Still, the path is not guaranteed. Both partners must keep their foot on the gas, investing in next-gen tech, empowering startups, funding science, and perhaps most importantly, never resting on past victories. As Dr. Marie-Lucie Stojak of Space Canada puts it, contracts are great, but the true gold is in the alliances and knowledge that stay long after the paperwork is signed. And for policymakers, there are essential lessons in ensuring public investment is targeted not only at big, splashy projects, but also at building the talent and support systems that let innovation thrive. Prioritizing sustainability, cybersecurity, and workforce development will decide whether the partnership sets the pace or struggles to keep up. So, can the Canada-ESA partnership adapt fast enough to stay at the summit of global space competition, or will it be left behind? Based on everything we've seen, the cutting-edge projects, the strategic funding, the tidal wave of commercial partnerships, the new generation of researchers and entrepreneurs stepping up, the answer is yes, they can adapt. But only if they remain bold enough to keep reinventing themselves, to take risks, and to double down on what has always made the partnership powerful: trust, openness, and relentless collaboration. The real secret, one that rarely gets headlines, is just how crucial these international bridges are in an age of fragmentation and rising suspicion. While rival alliances bicker or guard their tech, Canada and ESA have quietly built a playbook for global success, one that turns cooperation into world-changing innovation, again and again. But the race is only getting faster. The years ahead will demand even more vision, agility, and daring than before, along with bigger investments, support for the next generation, and a willingness to lead on tough issues like space debris, data privacy, and sustainability. If you're watching this, you have a role to play. Get curious. Follow the bold new missions in AI, robotics, quantum tech, and Earth observation. Ask your representatives to champion space investment and international science. And if you dream of being part of space's next golden age, start building the skills and connections that make you a player on the global stage. Because the future isn't written yet. And as the Canada-ESA partnership shows, some of the most powerful breakthroughs happen when unlikely partners join forces, share their strengths, and set their sights on challenges that are truly out of this world. If you want to see more deep dive